Good.
So we're recording now. So let's just start off with, I'm going to say hello, and then you guys can all come in that same circular order, okay? All right. Hi, everybody. So Paige here, and I'm here with our conversion all-stars, and they're here to share with you those tips and tricks on how they rock those conversions out here. So let's introduce ourselves. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Raquel Jacobs, or my students call me Teacher Rocky. I've been 2 years with VIP Kid. I just signed my 5th contract yesterday morning, maybe. My highest conversion month is 12. And this last month for March Madness conversions, I had 10 conversions. So, yeah.
Hello, my name is Teacher Lee. That's the name I use. My real name is Punja. Well, my real name is Punjama Porn. My nickname is Punja, and I go by Teacher Lee because I figured that's just very easy for students to remember. And I started VIP Kid back in October of 2017. And conversions-wise, the record month was this past month, the March Madness month, and it was 16. So,
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yes, great.
All right. Hey, so I am Caroline, and I signed my contract in October 2017 as well. I just signed my 4th contract, so in a year and a half in. And one of the things, my big goal last year was to go full-time, and so I'm now full-time, and I love it. The flexibility is great. Anyway, my conversions this month were 24, which was crazy and like really surprising. So, but I've done 12 in the past, and I've just noticed they've slowly grown over time, and it's taken time to get to this point. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Those are amazing numbers.
Wow.
All right. So as you guys know, that our members of the challenge group had submitted some questions ahead of time, and we are going to give them an opportunity during our live video watch to ask more questions as we go. So the first question comes out from Amy and wants to know, how do you start your trial classes? She finds that the first 3 minutes can be the hardest. So if you can give your tips for the first 3 minutes or so of your trial classes. We'll start with Rocky.
Okay, so in the first 3 minutes of the trial class, you're right, those are the hardest few minutes because you don't know the student and the student doesn't know you, and you don't know what to expect at all. And so I like to just start, what's your name? And I'm not for them, this is all for me. I'm trying to evaluate what the student's ability is, and if we're in the right level, I want to evaluate that maybe in the first minute or so. So what's your name? And if they can't answer, that's giving me a clue about where we are, where the student's speaking ability is. So just some general getting to know you questions. What's your name? If they're more advanced, I'll ask them, where do you live? Can they tell me that? And if they can't, then I know, I'm just trying to fit them into where I know I'm going to need to pull out speaking ability, right? The other thing that I think is really important in those first few minutes is to get the student comfortable in our platform. And so after I do a little greeting, I actually skip to that dot-to-dot slide that's at the end, like the drawing slide. I do that at the beginning. I skip right to that. And I say, are you using the iPad or the computer? Try to get them to tell me what they're doing, and I show them how to draw on the screen right away before we start, before I'm frustrated, before they're frustrated. And then I'll say, okay, they draw the lines once they figure that out. Okay, look, Teacher Rocky has red and you have blue. Okay? And then good. Then we're ready to begin, and I jump right to the song after that. So they understand how to use the platform before we begin the trial. I think that really helps.
Awesome.
Especially the younger ones. So
yeah. Thank you. All right, Lee.
Okay, great. So the same thing, pretty much just gauging what the student's ability is, what level. I get a lot of the little ones. I love them all, but I get the little ones, and I tend to get level 3 trials a lot too, I guess, because I have a lot of animal props. I am very prop heavy as a teacher for the little ones. The older ones, you could be more flexible with that. But with trials, I'm very prop heavy because it's my first time meeting them. And a good question that came up in the forum regarding what if the student just doesn't say anything, it's just they're just staring at you, then I kind of talk to my stuffed animals, or I'll be like, hi Dino, come here, and then a dino starts coming, hello, and it kind of warms them up. And it also, when they're looking at props, they're a little bit more distracted and they pay attention to the props, and then that attention is all focused from you, because once the little ones are meeting a stranger, it's very scary, especially the ones that are like, they see a stranger and you see them going into mommy's arms, or that that's going to be a hard one. So then I draw the props in, I bring the props in, and I kind of introduce myself to that. And the same thing, the same questions. Hi, my name is Teacher Lee, what's your name, and see if they can just at least answer that. Their age, I'll hold up. I have a lot of these little things that I printed out.
Oh, I love that.
And so I'll be like, hi, my name is Teacher Lee. We'll start with the name, and then, how are you? At least that can they can differentiate between how are you and how old are you. And those are the ones that I find that they confuse the most. So that kind of helps with the little ones. And and just to see, where do you live? I live in the USA. Where do you live? And see if they can answer that, things like that.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Hi, Caroline.
All right. I do a lot of those things. I got something to add, like obviously always, starting with the questions, kind of assessing right away, but also my new thing has been like, how do I get the student and I to feel that connection? Because there are certain times where it clicks. You have an excited student and it clicks, and it's so easy. And those times, like Punja was saying, when there's a student who's young, who's quiet, or even an older student who's kind of awkward and uncomfortable, it's not clicking. So I'm often like scanning their environment to see what I can find to make it click. So, and like just having loads of props so you have choices around. I mean, like if you see a picture of an elephant in a student's room and they're pre-VIP, you can hold it up and say, I see an elephant, and you're making a connection. They look for the elephant. And you're making these connections early on to, yes. I got
you. Have an elephant, right?
Right, we all have elephants.
I have 5. Okay.
And see, we have a connection. It's a deeper connection now, all of us.
That's good.
So I think, and considering how your student's feeling, putting yourself in their shoes, helps me remember that this is a brand new experience. It's awkward. It can be uncomfortable for them. Not all students are like raring, ready to go. And so really slowing down my language when I need to, using less language and more visuals.
Yeah.
Awesome. Excellent.
That's
excellent.
good.
Somebody asked, are you a digital trial? Anybody here a digital trial teacher that uses digital props other than I do?
I do use some digital props, just from the Google Slides, just to help myself keep mostly flashcard type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a little simpler to hold up on the iPad, like the letter A with an apple. Just easier for me to flip through them that way than doing this. But I do all. I have some digital and a good mix of 2D and 3D props in every trial.
And I've been finding myself do that too. I have this will block the screen a little bit, but I have my apple, I have my bed, I have my cat that goes on my head, and I try to incorporate quite a few, but sometimes I love to just remove all digital features and just go back to old school regular props. And I have a mix. So I haven't figured out if my digital is totally an advantage. I think I book the same or convert the same amount of trials whether or not I use digital props, because it's 100% in your presentation for the most part. So that's what I think. Okay, so the next question is, do you involve the parents in the trials if they are sitting off screen or even a little bit on screen? Rocky?
I do, depending on the level and kind of your read on the parent. I think you can kind of get a feel for whether the parent wants to be involved or not. Like if they're like, then I think they maybe like don't necessarily want to know that they're there. And so then I kind of let them go. But if the student is very young, I will call on mom to help. Like, Mom, he can draw on the screen. Can you help him draw? Like, just to show how to use the platform, and just get that hurdle out of the way to begin with, right? And so often just engaging the mom will help, or the dad. And sometimes the mom and dad are right there, like singing all the songs with you. And then in that case, I for sure engage the mom, like give mom a high five, thank you, mom. Thank you, dad. See you soon. Just, they're paying for the trial. So if they seem like they want to be involved, then I will involve them. Or if I need their help, I will ask for it.
Awesome. All right. Lee?
So the other way, just to go back on helping the kids know when do you want them to move, drag and drop. If you want to, you can use your own phone or an iPad that you have around you, and you can show them. The little ones kind of pick this up if they're used to like using an iPad, and if you have the lesson up and you're just like, Mom,
Yeah.
Mom, this works a little bit faster than I have the old traditional paper way too, where I'll be like, Mom, Mom. So this will kind of help them with that too, just in case people have problems with that. And what else? What was the other question that we were talking about?
How do you involve? Do you involve the parents?
Okay, involving the parents. Yes. So I will say, well, if this is my mom, then I'll say, Mom, I love my mom. And I'll go like this, and I'll be like, oh, Mommy, I love Mommy. And I'll hug something. Mommy, my mom, and I will involve the parents, and usually they like that. Or I'll say kiss, and I'll actually kiss mom, and a lot of the kids are like mom, and they'll hug mom or dad, or they'll give them a hug. So I do try to pull them in, but also like Rocky said, it depends on if you see if you just kind of see the parent kind of moving to the side, then they don't want to be involved in it. But with the little ones, I do try to involve mom and dad in, and I'll try to get them to be like affectionate, and that really helps. I feel that I get a good reaction when that happens. And Asian people are very affectionate. We're very affectionate, and so it's okay. And you can say, Mom, kiss mom, and they will kiss mom.
Aww.
So we're always taught to say love, even to teachers, to grandparents. So love is a very easy word to use. I love my mom, and then you tell them to hug and kiss. So it's a great bonding moment. It breaks the ice, and it's a sweet moment.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Caroline, yeah.
I love that. I definitely engage the parents in those ways too. And oftentimes I'll take cues and from the parents. I meant to mention this at the introduction. I do correct right away. Like I start correcting the students right away because I have heard, and I've heard parents after lessons like calling VIP Kid being like I hear them saying the corrections maybe I didn't necessarily do right away. So I think it is important to kind of follow the parents' cues. If like you hear the parents getting concerned about pronunciation, then I try to take that off the parents' shoulders and correct the kid in a really fun, engaging trial way, but still show like I'm not that much different in my trial classes than my master classes. I am teaching and I am correcting in a really fun way, and I want to take that off the parents' shoulders so they feel like they're paying me to do, to teach the lesson. And I feel like that's been really helpful. And then the parents sometimes will back off slightly, but I love to include the parents and the babies. If I see a baby, is that a baby brother? And that like engages the whole family, like bring the whole family in.
Awesome. Gotta love those babies. I
I know.
Can
a baby?
Yes, it's very cute.
So if you're looking at your feedback and you get feedback from parents from the trials, what are the comments? What do those parents say impressed them the most about your trial class?
I think I get a lot of good TPR. I think the speed of speech, I think, is very important in a trial. I think the more we teach master classes, the maybe lazier we get with our incidental language and the speed that we speak, because we kind of know our regulars and we know what they can handle. And so I think, for the trial class, we almost have to take it back to mock level, right, of incidental language and speaking speed. And so I think it's very important in a trial that you are speaking really clearly and really slowly. And I often do get good feedback on, thank you for speaking slowly, or thank you for being so patient when he couldn't answer. That's some of the trial feedback I've received. A lot of trial feedback doesn't have comments.
Yeah,
if I'm honest, right?
That's true.
Yeah. So.
All right. Awesome. Lee?
Okay, so for mine, I get a lot of feedback regarding keeping the student engaged and interested. And I'm pretty sure that's due to all the props and the toys that I have. If a child is holding a toy, or if I see a toy, and we mentioned this before, if I see a Hello Kitty, I'll bring up Hello Kitty. Or if I see a Transformer, I have a Transformer. If I see Paw Patrols, I'll bring them, and they'll be the reward system. So having my son's toys all around me in an organized way helps me look very prepared and helps me catch the child's attention. And again, this is with the younger ones, yeah. So I think a lot of the comments are about that, about being very prepared and being ready for anything and trying to engage the child and keep the child interested throughout the lesson.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah, so I think I get a lot as far as like most it's all positive. I did recently have a trial parent that left all 5 apples but said I wasn't correcting soon enough. So again, going back to parents do find like corrections really important in trials, and I think remembering to keep that at going back to like the mock level, not maybe the master class level. I love that comment that you made about that. That's really great. And keeping no incidental language, but still correcting. And then what I was saying before, I heard a parent after class yelling into the phone. I could see her. She couldn't see me. My camera was off. She's yelling into the phone like, "This is my mom," and then in Chinese. And I don't understand the Chinese, but I realized that I hadn't corrected the student to say, "This is my mom." I allowed the student to say, "This is a mom," because that's correct, but it's not what's on the slide. So I kind of took it from that parent that that parents find it important to stay consistent to the slides. So as far as like, those are comments like how I've learned and improved my trials. Stay consistent with the slides and correct.
Yeah, and those are
Really
so
true.
confusing to see. This is my mom, but this is my mom. It's hard to understand that it's being said in a third person.
For sure.
So.
And regarding the upper levels for the pronunciation and all these corrections with the reading, that's where you want to target. So with the younger ones, it's getting them interested. It's getting them to want to learn the language. But with the older ones, it's more about why do they need us? Because the ones, 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, they're able to read and they can listen to a lesson, but why do they need us? So try to incorporate that. So think about, why would they need me here?
Right.
To correct their pronunciation, to show them every little pronunciation, mispronunciation you want to correct, because you want them to know that you need me here, you need me here. So always remember that from the sales point of having trials is, why do they need you? You have to show that. You have to prove that you're benefiting them somehow, by having these lessons.
That's an awesome point. Gosh. Okay, so guys are so smart. So let's go into your closings then. We've talked about the opening. We've kind of talked about the middle part where we're going to teach. We're going to include parents if we can. We're going to go prop happy, or at least do it in a way that balances our personalities and our classes. So then how do we do our wrap up? Not specific yet to our feedback, but just our wrap up, our kind of sales closing on your trials, that maybe you have your little tricks or tips that help people or help you close your trials. So Rocky?
I think this is probably, for me at least, level specific, how I close out a trial. With a pre-VIP, I'm just like, that was awesome. And that new map where you move Dino along, I love that thing. Okay, so yeah. they know that we're finished, right? They can see we're at the end, and I'm giving them their final big dino star. Yes, 5 stars, big clap, big cheer, and then we sing, right? And then a big song. So after we sing, then I say, thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. thank you, bow bow, and I'll see you next time. And then turn off the camera. And I always do a little like smiley or heart after I'm gone on the screen. Like, I saw you, I had fun, and see you next time, right? That's how I do a pre-VIP. Now, maybe scooching forward to a student who's maybe more conversational, who's reading better, like a upper level 3, 4, or 5 even, I'm going to be saying, you are reading so well. I hope we can practice speaking together more. Okay, and I'll just say, like, we can work on pronunciation, or we will have fun speaking English, or just, let's keep practicing together so you can get stronger with English. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Is that helpful? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
so with the little ones, it's just celebration.
Yeah,
Oh, celebration. It's like, oh my God, you got 5 stars. It's just like, and by then they're pretty happy. If you have like a clapper or whatever it is, like, hooray.
Oh my gosh.
So it's a very happy moment for you too, because it's over.
Yeah. So it is sweet relief. You're right.
Yes,
we made it.
It's just celebrating. Now with the older ones, hopefully you've connected with the students throughout the lesson. I like to find out where they are, what they like. I try to make sure I know something about every student. And with the older ones, they want that from you. They want your attention. They want to seem interesting, right? Because they're older, and that's what they care for. They care about that. So it was so nice to meet you. I hope I get to see you again. Something that draws them in, and it makes them feel good about themselves. You did really well today. This was a very good lesson, and just a lot of praise, and a lot of attention. Praise and attention. Now for all the kids.
I'm sorry, I know I'm stealing Caroline. I just thought of one more thing in the upper levels, but one thing I always try to ask the upper levels at the beginning is, why do you want to learn English, right? Going back to Teacher Lee's point about, why do you need me? So I just ask them, why do you need me? Why do you want to learn English? And then again, at the end, I'll try and bring that reason back up. Like, oh, you want to go to university in America? We can practice English so you can go to university in America. Like, bring it back to the reason that they gave you in the beginning. It tells you that you remember what they said, and that you can help them towards that goal. I think is helpful.
That's awesome.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Cool.
Caroline,
no. So I stole something from Paige, and with my pre-VIP, I sing a song that she sings. Like I say, where is Goodbye Pink, Goodbye Blue, and we kind of like, I sing the Goodbye Dino song, but instead of singing all of those lyrics, I stole that from you.
Oh, good. Like goodbye A, goodbye B.
To like show the parents we're reviewing and having fun. And I totally stole that from something on our goal group. So sorry, but I love that for the younger ones. And then for older ones, I like wrap up my reward. And usually what I do, so this is just a very specific example. Like I play this game called Guess the Word. Like, what's my favorite food? You did a good job. You can guess my favorite food. And at the end, I will say, can you guess my favorite student? And it's like so cheesy, but they like cannot guess. They're like, I'm like, it has an S. And they're like, Sam? I'm like, yeah, you are my favorite student. And seriously, like I have a regular...
That won't work with my name. Because my name is...
Yeah. Just guess an alphabet letter. You got it. It's in there.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just I think going back to like, you want them to feel special. The older students, younger students, everyone, like remind them of whatever connection you made throughout that class. Remind them of that at the end, and end the class with some love. I always draw a heart and like, it was nice to meet you, and show them you really care about them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So the final kind of question to wrap it up is the post-class feedback. Let's talk about, one person said specifically, is every student a superstar? Or how do you approach your feedback, your wrap-ups, and your closing sales and your feedback? And also let's talk about the timing of your feedback as well. All right.
For trials, if it's possible, I hammer it out between classes because I know, when we're doing a trial, you're part of a team. You are part of the team that is trying to close that sale, and it's not only you involved in that sale. And so I try to keep that in mind, like my part on this team is doing a killer class and getting that feedback in so that the LP can call the parent or whoever it is, salesperson. I don't know when the role changes, but whoever it is that follows up with the parent, say, look, teacher Rocky said that this and this and this happened in class, and just that they can be specific, they have that in front of them. So if it's possible, I try to do it in between classes. And I try to give feedback on specific areas, like here's their speaking, their reading, their pronunciation, their phonics, like doing a great job with phonics. We can keep learning the sounds for the English letters. We'll continue to build on vocabulary. Great job repeating after the teacher. Awesome job with drag and drop, like specific things that they did in the lesson, not just general trial fluff. Like I really do try to be specific. And kind of, speaking, reading, for little ones, it's phonics, and how they used the features in our platform. I try to comment on those specific things. And I do not rank every student as superstar. Usually behavior is superstar. Usually, they're trying to participate, that's superstar. But I'll usually, after that, I want them to need me. So I'll say, you did good here, but you don't have it. You need me. So, and I don't know if that's right. Like maybe there's training around that I missed, but that's my personal philosophy on that. Like I want them to know there's improvement to be made here, and this product can help you improve in that.
Okay, so for me, are they superstars? Well, the little ones, I try to grade it a little bit easier, and it's more about their behavior, how well, unless they're really screaming and they're running away, then yes, then I would grade honestly, and I'll give them one, a little bit lower. But usually it's always the first two, and I forgot what the if you're not a superstar, you're that other one. I don't know what that
good, very good, or something.
Very good. Yeah, so it's like within at least the first two. Good job, because it's more about effort. But in the actual feedback, I will comment on what they need. So that's more, I think the parents really care more about that, those little superstar things. Me as a parent, when my son had a trial, I don't remember seeing that, or I wouldn't even care about those little things. I care more about what actually went on in class. I also thank the parent if the parents were helpful, like, thank you, Mom, for, helping to repeat and make sure for future classes that Bao or student repeats, the teacher. So those are the things. I give them tips, and I kind of talk like they're definitely going to join. Like, oh, for future classes, it would be beneficial for Bao to do this, or it'll be, whatever it is they need. If they didn't know how to use a mouse, and some kids throughout the entire lesson they still won't know how to do that, then I'll write about that. So it's their needs, a few good things that really happened in class that I enjoyed, little fun moments or little good happy moments that we had together, and also that why the student would, what they would benefit out of the lessons. But it's usually within that first two. I don't really go anywhere lower than that. Most of them are pretty good. I've never really, unless when they're screaming, they leave anyway. So you'll have trials. But if you'll have trials that the parents just like, I'm sorry. Yes, that's because the child's really 3. They're not.
Yeah.
You'll get a lot of people that lie, and they're like, he's only 3. And I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
So they'll leave anyway. And then if they stay for the entire time, woohoo, you stayed for the entire time. That's something to celebrate in itself.
Awesome. Yeah. I think my general philosophy with grading, like if the student's there, if they're present, if they're doing their best, like they are a superstar. You might have a quiet student who was petrified the entire lesson, and like what he did today was his best, and it's what he could do best. Mm-hmm. So generally all my students get superstars, unless it was like really something that really like stuck out as I'm gonna not, I don't know. I put most of my effort into really thinking about the feedback. Yes. Mm-hmm. So I do it in between right after all my trials. because for the same reason that teacher Rocky said, you want the sales team to have that, and you want the parent to have that, because they're probably going to sign up really soon. I first welcome them to VIP Kid, and I list a couple credentials I have. My name's teacher Caroline. I have a master's degree, or whatever it is. Like, I have this experience teaching, so they know, like, oh, she has this experience, great. And then I'm very specific to things that happened in class. And when I want them to work on something, I don't really say what they did wrong. I say, today we practice the pronunciation for the word mom, and we sounded out each letter, and I give specific examples, and then I tell them something they can practice at home. So at home, you can practice the sentence, "This is my mom." And then I say, I hope they sign up, and I give them all the reasons why they'll love it, and then I thank them.
I like that, putting your credentials right there in the feedback.
That's really smart.
Really smart. I've never actually tried to market myself specifically as the teacher in the feedback. I've always tried the program and what we did today, but yeah, that's fantastic.
I think you can do that to yourself, and then I also market other teachers, because I don't say, like, since I try to do short notice, I'm not like, choose me directly after class. I'm more like, you know, all of the teachers here at VIP Kid are so excited to meet you, and you're such a great student. We can't wait to see you in the classroom. So
that's good. I also, if I ever have to switch levels in a trial, like, ooh, this kid is, you know, this is level 2, unit 1, and they should be level 4, you know, when that happens and I have to jump them, I will put in the feedback, part of what I'm doing in the trial class, like during the trial class, the teacher is assessing the student's speaking and reading abilities. And based on my assessment, I changed levels for your student to give them the best experience in our platform possible. Like, either up or down, so that they understand what I did. Like, why did she change it around? Like, based on my assessment of your student, I changed the level so that they understand that I'm tailoring the class to their student.
Yes, I do the same. Yeah.
That's helpful.
That's amazing. All right. So those are the questions that I had ahead of time. I'm sure we're going to have plenty of questions that show up on the lives, which I'm going to play multiple times. So you guys can be on there when there's a live. You could jump in. Otherwise, people are welcome to just continue to have like their own discussion and read their own comments, and know that you guys, you know, if you're tagged in it, you can address it later. Work-life balance. So what is going to be kind of like your final takeaway? If there was any kind of thing that you found through your success that have, you know, your guys, pretty much all of you seem to have rocked March out. And I remember a few months ago in the fall, that was when there was like a killer conversion rate, right? I think that was right before the price change happened. And I know that, like, I was just converting left and right. And, you know, then it kind of valleyed a little bit. So March kind of hit the peak for a lot of people. And I think also a lot of us found our groove, balancing that short notice for those who do it and balancing out the trial. So what is your, I guess, biggest takeaway from the conversions? Whether you have people that are saying that they're just not converting, you know, they're doing the trials, it's not converting. Like, what was your big, wow, that just clicked moment that was kind of your game changer?
Well, I think, you know, all I can do is teach the best class I can teach every time, because there's a lot of stuff with trials that's out of my control. You know, maybe they don't like the salesperson that they were assigned to. Maybe they're trying multiple companies. I don't know what this parent is thinking or why this student is in front of me in this moment. Like, my only job is to teach the best darn class I can. And so that's just my philosophy. I'm not going to stress about how to increase my conversions. I'm just going to make every trial class awesome. And hopefully they remember me and they come back to our platform and sign up. You know, because some of them might be waiting to take all 3 trials. I don't know. And I think there are also times, just like, you know, we can see for LingoBus, like when LingoBus runs a sale, right? Don't you like stock up on your classes then? Like, I think this is the same thing. Like, there are marketing things that happen behind the scenes that we don't have any control of. Like, we're running a sale or something like that. Right. I don't know. So that's my philosophy. I just don't stress about it. I think that teaching or saving some slots for short notice helps me teach more trials, because they get filled with trials, right? Instead of all my slots being booked with regulars. So the more trials I teach, the more chance I have at converting. And so I want to hold something back that will get filled with trials. That's part of how I can convert more if I teach more, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
Yeah, so along those lines, for me, or I know that I teach a lot of trials, and this is what I want every teacher to know. Even though you hear these big numbers, I always tell people it took me about 100 trials for me to get the 12 or the 10 or the 16 monthly that I get. I don't know
yeah.
why that question I can't answer, but I can tell you what the facts are is that I do get them a lot. I save my PTs, my PPTs, and my PTs, and I save my weekends, and those are the times that I get a lot of trials, short notice, and you do a lot of them, but you go in confident, you go in happy, and you go in with a lot of energy, and they are draining and they are tiring. But if you enjoy them and if you like them, it will show. So I usually don't look to see how many. Sometimes I look to see what they took, but if I don't have time, that's not really important to me because I don't need to know how many they've taken. I don't think that really counts. I've converted a lot on their first trial, what it seems like their first
Yeah.
trial. So don't ever
That was going to be one of my questions, right?
Yeah.
As soon as you did it, I was like, wow, what about that 3 trial rumor? And I just say,
that's just a
Yeah,
it's
rumor.
just,
A
that's
lot of
just
them
a
are
rumor.
just, and sales may even mention that, your students are level 1. The next, they're going to get the next trial, it's going to be the same lesson. I don't know if the parent's going to ask.
Yeah.
If they know they're going to get the same lesson and you were just, you did so well on that first one, why not get your student started or why not get your child started right away? What's the point of wasting another 30 minutes? If they did well, then let's get going, and just go in with that killer attitude and be very confident about it and you'll do well.
Yeah, I think it's really, I think what you said about this, this whole trial and doing short notice class can be really like we don't have much control over it, right? And yes, I miraculously had 24 conversions, so high for me, but I had the stomach bug last Monday and I canceled 10. I had 10 trials booked and I had to cancel them all, and I have not gotten a trial in the past week. So it's kind of this, it's like this, there's this whole bigger picture that we can't control. And so I guess I'm like, it's okay. Like you might feel a little frustrated or like, why aren't these trials converting? Why am I not getting trials? We don't necessarily know. And so when you get a trial, just put it all in there, put your heart in there. And
Yes.
that's the best, and the props. I think having trial specific props, as soon as I got a Meg and Mike, I swear I had a conversion. I was like,
I'm constantly taking them and sticking them back. Like,
you have the new ones.
Yeah.
I still have the old ones.
Yes, I don't know what I would do without all my props either. I mean, like, I'm just like, this is my mom. This is my mom. So
I know, it's so funny.
that might be if you want to, if trials are something that you really want and you want to get notice for them, I would say invest in some props and you can get them from garage sales. And there are people who are minimalists and they do perfectly well with everything. They need 5 things and it's all paper, and that's completely fine. But if you want to try to get their attention, I have a prop for every level. I have an astronaut, I have a rocket, I have an egg, I have a hatching egg, everything. Alligator. I have an alligator.
Right. Yeah, it's good.
Yes.
Good.
So if you want to make an investment and see if it helps, do it.
Yeah. I think too, because, the trial class should really be like the poster VIP kid class.
Yeah.
Right? Like what is the sales team telling them that they're going to get? The teacher is going to speak slowly. Like what would you want to hear?
Right.
My teacher will speak slowly. They'll engage your student with props. Like it's the perfect or the poster class. So like 2D, 3D, speaking speed, those things I think really matter in a trial. So.
And the new trial design, I think, has become amazing because it's taken out, I think, the feeling that, before people felt that the main job as a teacher for the trials was to place the student, and it never really was.
Right.
I mean, the LP was always going to be the one to place the student. So it was more about what trial do we need to be in right now? Oh, I need to drop. And now it's just, enjoy, expand, and here's where you can really, really have fun and really kind of sell the class and move at the pace that works best for the student, because you don't have the pressure of all 25 slides. You know, you can adapt if needed. You can play with the number in the box and really just make it where that kid, you know, I love when I look on the screen are we ending where that kid is smiling, or when the kid hiding behind mom in the beginning and in the end they're just like, you know, you know, and that's when you know, awesome. Well, we have hit our 40 minutes. I got a little pop-up box that said, hey, we're giving you a gift. We can extend more time. But I think all that means is they're not just going to shut it off on me right now. So that's awesome. So anyway, I really want to extend a big thank you to you guys for coming and taking time to talk with me. You guys are awesome contributors of the monthly challenge group and a really big part of helping people meet and achieve your goals. So I just want to say thank you so much for that. And I want to say goodbye to everybody. Thank you for watching.
Thank
Thank
you
you for watching.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, awesome. I shut off the recording, so we are no longer recording. Thank you so much.
It was nice to meet you. I don't really know
so...
it. I mean, I know Paige from her website, but I don't know the others. So
no, that was
so nice
amazing.
to meet you guys.
Now I have to try to find out where my it looks like it all just saved in like my Movavi. So this is really cool. So I think so, because at one point when I was recording, I had like brought stuff up on my screen and I was really afraid, like when I brought up my Minicam, I was like, well, there goes Caroline. You can't see her anymore. So now the goal is if it has sound. If not, I'll see you guys back here.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Okay. But I have to go. I have to do preschool drop off. Love you guys. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Awesome, guys. And I'm going to do this. I don't know. I'll edit it down and maybe play the first one. It's my daughter's 14th birthday today.
Oh.
So again,
Happy birthday.
It doesn't really have to be anything. Like, you guys don't have to be, oh, it still says recording. Oh.